Salutations is what's popping with Random, where we talk about all things pop culture with a particular flair for the subculture. And in this episode, I will be bringing back some battle rap. We want to get all caught up with that. But you know what? I'm not going to do it without my special guest and co-host for this episode, Mr. Garrett Bush. You with us?
Yeah, man. What's going on? I'm glad to be back on the program. Good to talk to you again, man.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, man. You know, over the last week, it's been a couple of things happening in the world of battle rap, wouldn't you say?
Man, it's been packed. It's been packed. You know, battle rap has these spurts where, you know, it can be dry for a little bit, but the news tends to hit you all at once. Like, bam, we got 5 or 6 things dropping. Battles drop all the time. And so we got a lot to get to, man. A lot of stuff.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Absolutely, man. You know what? Let's man, I know some people have been keeping up with the news, but like we want to just kind of recap all the things that's been happening at least over the last couple of weeks. But before we get into some of the other nitty-gritty stuff, let's go ahead and look at some of the top new guys right now. Who do you think is the top new guy right now? Who's just hot right now?
For me, this is an easy one.
Sure.
Right now, Geechee Gotti is the new flavor of the week. He's the new guy. I mean, you look at, you know, what he did to, you know, his performances.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, I think when you look at styles and you look at how battle rappers translate to fans, we're always looking for that new street guy, that new street language, the new nitty gritty guy that's talking that street talk. And you look at going back from Rex to Surf to even Shotgun Suge, you know, even to a certain extent Hitman, and now you go to a guy named, you know, like Geechee Gotti, who's giving you a different feel, like a different West Coast feel, and it's so authentic. And right now he can do no wrong. Like he can probably come out here and spit, you know, a nursery rhyme right now, and the fans gonna love him. I think Geechee Gotti is definitely, you know, the new guy that got the new stamp. Is like, you ain't trying to battle him right now.
You know what? I can't really take nothing away from that point, man, because I think you make a perfect point. Because I mean, if you think about it, this guy, and I don't know if you watched, but did you watch his battle against A Ward?
Yeah.
You know the funny thing about it? The dude's like bulletproof, man. Nobody's even really talking about it. You know, no one's even saying, man, he lost bad or anything like that, because like you said, he's the flavor of the week, man.
It's when they stamp you. See, here's the thing. When they stamp you and when they put that seal on you, there's really not too much nobody can really say to you. You know, we've seen that. We've seen that with people who've gone on runs. Look at the people who've gone on runs. You know, when Surf was hot, and Surf started a whole new way of saying that I'm gonna end the round because I don't have no more new material. He started Jersey and stuff. Yeah. People started Jersey and rounds like that was like the fashionable thing to do just because he was so hot. You know, you even look at guys like Hitman. Like, you know, Hitman, you know, they start noticing Hitman for, oh, well, Hitman's, you know, you just got to make it to that first round. You know, Hitman's first round is deadly. And then on to guys like Rock, you know, where, you know, Rock will say something and it don't even be that crazy.
Right.
But he'll say it just the way he's saying it with so much passion.
That delivery.
You know, the delivery, people would buy it. And I think Geechee Gotti, what was appealing to him, like you said, you look at that A-Ward battle, like they just want to go. They're like, man, he stood in front of Shotgun Suge, and really talking, you know, that gang stuff, and he was really, really talking it like he walked it, and that was something that he wasn't playing around, and so they skip over those little battles, and that's how you know. That's a brilliant point you bring up. That's how you know somebody's truly hot, and it's
Yeah.
a fan favorite when they lose or they choke or something, and people act like that battle don't exist.
They act like they didn't even happen, man. Because of his. Oh yeah, and I think it was one of those little and baggy, little in the purse shout out to Tech Nine kind of thing. Because remember, they said that he took that A-War battle, and like a week later, he had Shotgun Suge.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yep.
and we can't deny that he was fired. You know, against Shotgun Suge. I mean, because man, he was cooking.
He stood for me. He stood in front of a lot of cats.
Yeah.
Where I mean, I just went back and as I was doing a little research and thinking about some of these questions we talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
I go back and just brush up on stuff and look at some different things. And I looked at Geechee versus JC.
Uh-huh.
And I went back and looked at that battle. I'm like, man, Geechee was talking. I mean, and
Cooking.
JC, yeah, he was cooking, but JC would come back and Geechee would just come back with some other stuff, and it'd be like, okay, man. I mean, I think, all right, yeah, he's believable. Like he's one of those guys that like he's one of the very few people. He reminds me of when I first heard Calico, like when Calico used to talk
about I like
the street. Yeah, when he used to talk that street stuff, used to be like this young boy either is really still doing this stuff, or he's close to somebody that's really doing this because it was so believable in what he was doing. And so Geechee reminds me that it's believable when he's rapping.
Yeah, I agree. He does have that little Calico effect. I think right now he has that he has that staying power. Now I'm gonna tell someone else who I'm gonna tell you someone else who I think I'm not jumping out the window. I'm not saying that he's excuse me everything, but I think that he kind of got a spark. I'm not gonna say he's on fire, but he got a spark.
Okay.
Because and I'm not gonna take anything from Geechee Gotti because I definitely co-sign what you just said. But I just want to throw somebody in there with a spark, and that is that low life thug Jack Boy Maine.
Oh, listen. Talk to him. But go ahead, say your piece.
Hey man, I'm telling you.
I want to say something. Go ahead.
Man, after that band battle, oh man, after how he did Steams, I'm sorry, Steams was cooking. He was cooking, but Jack Boy was on another level, and he's getting love for it. Another level. All 3 rounds, fire. It felt like he found himself. Like, okay, he has an identity. And then to carry that moniker that, I mean, I'm sorry, I got to give credit to Tech Nine. He made that moniker, Low Life Thug popping. To take that moniker and get on stage with that nice look, we got to give the cinematography just double honors, man. It was just awesome with that dark, that light just on the battlers, incredible. And then him coming here, no shirt, looking like a thug, and just going in all 3 rounds was ridiculous. Talk about it.
Listen, first of all, if Jack Boy Maine is going to react that way and come with rounds like that, he might as well never have a shirt on again. Pause. He should never put on another shirt in a battle. And I mean, listen, I'm not a Jack Boy Maine fan in the least bit. In the least. Now, I hate the way he says bow. He says bow 86 times. He says 86 times. But here's the thing: if he's gonna say bow 86 times and sprinkle that through these rounds and come with that material was like a PD Pablo DMX.
Yeah.
Just his energy. He wasn't too far. Jack Boy has the ability to be off in East Jesus, I like to call it. And
exactly.
What are you talking about?
Jackanese.
And this time he was taking it. He was taking it as far as he could, and it made sense. His look was on.
Yep.
The band called whoever decided it. that they was gonna shoot it that way, and you could only see
The
a
battlers.
battlers and a couple steps behind them.
I love it.
It was beautiful.
I love it.
Like URL or whoever's shooting these battles, another way they can take the level of their battles to a new level is just by shooting in different settings and shooting
Yep.
these things. Like that's why that's why I like wrestling as a child. Like because I used Survivor Series, Fall Brawl, you had the cage matches, tag team matches. It's different. But back to Jack Boy, and that was the best. And by the way, it's the best themes I've ever seen.
It was great. I'm taking nothing away from Steams. It was fine.
But he got 30-piece nugget. He got 30 piece. He got hit with 30-piece.
And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jack Boy Thanos snapped him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like it was a 30-piece nugget. And to be truthful, if Jack Boy, I don't want to see. He should be watching. Like he should be watching that as film work. That's where he needs to be at all times, because right then he's different from anybody that I've seen on URL.
Man,
right?
He would have beat most guys standing in front of him that night. Jack Boy would have beat most people.
Just because he had the drunken master, like he said, like the wino on the corner that looks like he used to have some talent back in the day that still can sing and probably dunk a basketball and run a 4.4 and a 40-yard dash. Mm-hmm. He looked like that was the younger version of that person, and the way he came up there, I give it to you. Jack Boy Maine might be a new artist. If he does that, he can get a redo. And people don't remember Shotgun Suge got a redo.
Yep. Rebirth. Yep.
He came back, and all of a sudden, for a couple years, Suge was that dude. Cortez.
Yes.
Rebirth. Like, so it can happen. And I think this is a new start for Jack Boy. And I think this is a jumping off, as this is where he needs to be at. He found himself today.
I absolutely agree. I could not agree more. Now, I will say, as much as love and praise I'm heaping upon him, the only thing that I have to say, one little takeaway, because I don't know if you've seen it. Okay, I listened to Black Compass Media, and they had an interview with Jack Boy. So if you didn't listen to it, go back and listen to it. Black Compass Media, and it was an interview with Jack Boy Maine. And the only thing I did not like is that he's getting a lot of praise, which I do like. I do like that he's getting a lot of praise because I think he deserves it. I think he deserves the kudos that he's getting. I think he deserves all the love that he's getting. However, his attitude about the love was way off, and it was very off-putting. And what I mean is that when you listen to the interview, he kind of was going off on the fans because he said, "Oh, y'all going crazy over that simple stuff. I can't really do intricate stuff because, I got to dumb it down and all this stuff." And and he kind of stuck to that. And I was like, what are you talking about? You found the formula that people like, I mean, if you try to do over the head bars, and for the most part, I don't think Jack Boy does over the head bars. I think he does regional type stuff, and he put it in a way that if you're not from where he's from, you don't know what he's talking about.
You like, I don't know. It's a Gullah type.
Yeah.
I don't like, and I pride myself on, if I don't know something, I'm not too ashamed to say, hey, there's a thing called Google out there. I'm not in the streets like that. I go, so I may not be up on the vernacular, right?
Right.
So some of the stuff he says is just like, and people go crazy in the comment section, and I just feel left out. I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. And you brought up a point that I never quite thought to myself is, hey, maybe it's a regional thing. Maybe it's if you're not from that area, if you're not from that region, you're not gonna understand what he's talking about.
Exactly.
So,
and I like how he said, y'all don't, you're not peeping my Japanese and stuff like that, and that's fine. But then you got to explain it, bro, for people who are not from where you're from, But anyway, my point was, he was really, really dogging the fans who liked his performance, but he felt like he had to dumb everything down. The whole performance was a dumbed down version of what he really wanted to do. And I'm thinking it's not a dumbed down. You just translating it into a language that people understand. You got to put it in a way that people understand. So, for instance, I can say, look, I went to the store the other day, picked up a carton of milk, picked up a dozen eggs.
Right.
Right now, I just said that in English. I can say it in Russian. It's no more complicated. It's just in a language you don't understand.
Beautiful.
You know, you
I,
get what
I
I'm saying?
I can understand and I can get that. I totally understand that because now we understand. We get that, just because you said it in a different way doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily mean that it's like, oh, it's so intricate. You just said
yeah,
it in the language I don't get. It don't mean it's more
yeah.
intricate than I know. It's just
Exactly. It's like I don't get it. So I mean, that's the only thing that bothered me on that. But you know what? That does lead us into the next thing I wanted to touch on, which was how the fans get, Garrett, where they love you one minute, they hate you the next. But something happens. Okay, something happens where people take a wrong turn somewhere, and sometimes they have to look back on their career, and then the fans turn on them. We love to build them up. We love to tear them down. Who do you think the fans will probably turn on next? Who do you think, in your
man.
opinion?
Well, I think it's already starting to happen a little bit.
Okay.
We're starting to see like the little cracks in the facade. And with his last two battles, we looked at it, and this kind of ties back into some of the different stuff we talked about earlier. When you're
Mm-hmm.
looking at, Summer Madness 8, and if you say who is this card the biggest for in Summer Madness 8,
Mm-hmm.
arguably, I could say is Hollow. I can arguably say Hollow. This is a biggest card for him because I
Yeah.
go back and I look at it and say he's having problems with people in this era. Usually, generally, he's a legend.
Ah, okay, okay.
He's a
Talk to
legend.
me. I didn't know.
He's
I didn't know you were gonna go there because we didn't talk about our answers. So
we
I didn't
didn't.
know you were gonna go there. Talk to me.
It's not even my guy. But here, like I could pick, and you know what, I would, for me the obvious choice would be Tay Rock because
Okay.
and that's too obvious. Like
Yeah, yeah. Last two battles. Yeah.
last two battles, whatever, we get that, and we'll see what he's gonna do as far as redemption with Pat Stay.
Okay.
Now, that is what it is, and we get to that later. But I think
Okay.
the person who people are on the verge of turning on is Hollow, and I'll give you this example is because you look at the battles Hollow has won since he's been out, and he's a guy who's been known as a dude on that Mount Rushmore, a GOAT contender.
Yep.
When you look at the battles Hollow has had,
Mm-hmm.
what battles has he had where he's battling somebody from this new era, and he's completely dominated them, like showing them like this is how you do this. Because I've seen, I could arguably say that, Mook and Lux and those guys have done that. I can even say people from that era, Goods has been out a long period of time, and Goods consistently keeps coming out
Oh
and
man.
and pointing out the difference between real top tier cats and he does it every single time. He makes you not hot. He
Yeah. Yeah.
takes all your powers away from you, and he
Yeah.
says, I want to see if you can operate. It's good. It's cool being Superman,
Yeah.
but let's see if you Batman. You gonna have to use a utility belt and some
Mm-hmm.
smoke bombs and maybe a couple gadgets. But Hollow, you look at the surf battle. Some
Mm-hmm.
people are debatable.
Yep.
Some people don't clearly have him winning that. A lot of people got Rock flatly winning
Yeah.
that battle
Yep.
against Hollow,
I got
and
rocking
so,
that one. I got rocking that one.
and I do too. Like so now you coming against John, right? And it's a grudge match. I've been going back and forth for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you lose this battle, or it's not a good showing, your legacy or your position in the game is starting to look kind of weird. It's starting to look
Mm.
weird because now you like, okay, well, you didn't handle. I can understand if you didn't handle Tay Rock. I mean, he was arguably the number one dude
Yep.
on
In the game. Yep. On
the
tape.
game.
Yep.
So I get that. I can understand if you didn't, really do nothing with Lux. Lux is, I mean, that's Lux. People got you debatable doing that.
Yep, God tier.
But all his wins, all his major performances where people got him taking those wins
Mm-hmm.
is against guys of that era. You look at your boy like Lux, you look at people like Arsenal, you look at all the battles he did, you know what I'm saying, before any of the URL stuff. So people are gonna say, from this era, who have you dominated?
Nobody really.
Nobody. And John is not the face of anything in this era.
No, he's not.
He's the first PG to kind of be stamped as a top tier. If
Exactly.
if you lose that battle, um, I'm starting to look at you like maybe I should have had Verb in your spot.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Maybe I should have had DNA in your spot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should have had, maybe I should have been looking at guys of that ilk to put up, even guys like, you look at even if you're a hitman and
Yep.
you say, arguably, who have I lost to?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I lost to Verb, and Verb is top of the joint.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Verb on the throne now, so on one of the
so
thrones.
so me going. I think this is a big situation for Hollow. Hollow has to, he got to come out here, and I'm anxious to see what he has, because one thing about John is this.
Mm-hmm.
John, I will give you. John has perfected this era's format.
Yeah, he
And
yeah.
what I mean by that is just he, like, when you come into the game and you come watching and you're in the forefront of watching the first person acapella, no beat, like he's had the longest period of time to know, all right, well, when I'm writing my bars, I need to have a personal here, I need to have some wit here.
You know
Here's
what?
a
You know
couple
what?
bars.
You know what? We're gonna table that one towards the end, because the last thing we're gonna talk about is what they have so far for SMA, and you are doing excellent breakdown. But it's still on topic. It's still on topic. But when you were going to the John, I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and save it. But let me ask you this: Was
Don't give
Hollow?
him too much.
Yeah, I was like, don't give him too much. We'll put that at the end. But was Hollow the person who you think they're about to turn on? Was that the guy you're gonna pick?
Yeah, I think Tay Rock. They're already. We got to this a little too late. I think people are already turning on Tay Rock.
I agree.
I think from his showing against Hitman, it started with Goods, went to Hitman. The whole strike thing where he's
Yeah.
mad at Smack because now
Yeah.
he didn't get whatever he want. Now it's like he has. You go for 1 year, arguably being the battle rapper of the year, which I think he should have got it over O-Red. Like, I'm sorry.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
O-Red, you beat some other people, but you can't beat Hollow, and you can't be going on the run that Tay Rock had and you give it to O-Red. Like,
Yeah.
nah. So, but I think from going that to going from that to going to this is a big. We would have never thought that was going to happen. So
Yeah.
I think it's obvious as Tay Rock, but on the sneaky tip, and one of the ones that I think, if he loses his battle, I think Hollow is going to be that guy where they're like, dog, you gonna have to prove it. Like, you might not even be in there like that.
I know he hadn't even really beat anyone from this era. Man, you pointed out something I didn't even pick up on, because you're right. He has not even beaten someone from this era. So no, I feel you on that one. I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna go with you on that. But I always got to throw something in there. I was going a lot of love on, and I think one of the other reasons to just kind of button up the whole Tay Rock part of it is that, yeah, I think you're right. I think we're a little late on that. I think it's current because it's last two battles. But I agree with you that that's kind of the easy pick.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that they're already kind of in that bag. So he kind of needs the win. I mean, his next battle to come up, because both of his last two opponents have the whole battle rap culture looking at him different. You know, they're like, oh man.
And hold on, I can say this. Okay, so matter of fact, I lied. We not even going deep enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I said his last two.
Yeah.
So a lot of people is gonna say that the disaster battle, that's ain't nobody really. They're not even counting that one.
Yeah. I mean, he won, but it wasn't
But
either a great table rock and it wasn't a good disaster.
yeah, so they're like, okay, you was so that battle. You go back even a little further. Some people don't like what he did against Rum Nitty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That wasn't that. No, that wasn't. Yeah. He it. Yeah, I agree. He's definitely. Oh yeah, man. He really got some shaky ones in there, man.
Then you go back further. People like that battle against Sharon.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know a lot of people actually got him losing that battle to Sharon.
Yeah, we have not
Man.
seen. We have not. In okay, so you can say, okay, when's the last? The only thing saving him, the only thing that's saving him, that's in between these is his performance against Hollow, and because that performance against Hollow is squeezed in between that and the gun titles NWX. So we remember him for that gun titles NWX, and then for what he did on the stage against Hollow. So the rest of the stuff is kind of like, but we don't remember a lot of the other battle, like even the Calico battle. I don't remember nothing crazy he said to Calico. Like,
Not really. The only thing he kept saying was, "I'm not Pat Stay," which sets up some of that as A. But we're gonna say that towards the end. We're gonna say that to the
yeah, we say that. We said that. But yeah, go ahead. I digress.
end. That's okay. No, I agree with you. That whole Tay-Rod thing. But here's my thing, because I gotta be, we gotta have a couple of opposing views and stuff like that. We both agree that it could be Tay-Rod. All right, easy, but we just kind of threw that out there because it could be Tay-Rod. But
Right.
here's the other thing. I'm gonna throw a name out there, and I know we were giving him love, but here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people are turning on him. Let me make it clear for the people who start trying to lynch me. I'm not saying that people are turning on him right now, because it is not happening. What I'm saying is that it could happen, and I think he needs to be careful, slow down, take less battles. After his next battles, I think he needs to wait for another battle. But the person who I think they might start turning on, if he's not careful, meaning oversaturation, is going to be Geechee Gotti.
Oh, yeah. Like that. That is. Oh, definitely. That is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, the reason I say that is because, think about it. We were comparing him to Calico. Now, check this out. Now, Geechee Gotti is on a run. Hey, he's in my, hey, he's in the top 5 running for, champion of the year in my book,
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
speaking for myself. But here's the
No,
thing.
definitely. I got him there too.
Exactly. Now, think about this. Calico, he was on a run. Now, he was a fan favorite. He was going in there. He shocked the world with his young ill battle, because you're like, man, okay, this dude got something. He beat newborn into a coma. So I saw the battle against him and Heartless.
Destroyed math.
Destroyed man. That's when he just exploded. He exploded. He destroyed math. He exploded, and then Calico was that dude. And then he ran into a bigger fan favorite, played the bully, and tried to bully Lux. And people think about that, from Lux on, Calico was not that dude.
You know what? I've always thought. That. Um. That, and you mentioned that. I always felt that if you go back and look at and you watch that battle, if you actually, some people will debate, if you take in consideration, I've never seen a person, somebody will say, if you just wipe Lux's name away from it, and you say battle rapper A and battle rapper B, if you take battle rapper A and you say he choked in the first round,
right?
So automatically that round goes to rapper B.
Correct.
Second round, he starts cooking, whatever.
Yep.
But if you watch it, he didn't say anything crazy.
Correct.
He ends up finishing he finishes his first verse in his second. Yep. So he didn't even really split his second round. He got one, like he's doing one round. Yeah. So you like, okay, then so you can say, all right, the material for the second is debatable.
Right.
And then in the third, he does what he does. You know what I'm saying? The more
Right.
one of the more. I mean, it's pretty much one of the top three defining moments. I argue the number one defining moment in battle rap.
Oh yeah.
Um, and he does that, and we give him. When you look at that battle in hindsight, we say it like Calico died. Like,
Yeah.
and people say, well, it's debatable going, 1-1 at worst going into the third. But what he did was so crazy that we just don't even remember like the circumstances in which how we got there.
Yeah.
And if you look at Calico, I always felt like he was never kind of that stole so much momentum from him.
Absolutely, man. It chopped him down, man. He was not after that battle. He was not that dude. He just
And
wasn't.
so when you say Geechee Gotti,
Yeah.
I wholly just agree with that to one of to the utmost, because I believe truly that nowadays in battle rap everything is so microwavable. It's just like anything else
Yeah.
in culture, whether it's the news cycle or it's the new flavor of the week or whatever.
Absolutely.
And so all we have to do is just go back and look at some people that we once deemed hot.
Yep.
So at one point in time, people will laugh now. At one point in time, people thought that Dot was the craziest
Oh,
thing.
talk about it, man. Man, hey, I was in battle rap at that time. I've been in battle rap over 10 years. I know, and I was really scratching my head. I was like, "What? This dude is not even rhyming. What the?" It was
They
crazy.
thought Dot was crazy. You had him, and then you move through the ranks, and then you have people like you had who had Dot was moving. Look at Chess.
Yep.
They had Chess. They think about this. Think about the people Chess has already battled.
Yeah. Yeah. Killer resume.
And he's already battled Tay Rock. How do you get rock? How do you get Chess was on every card moving. You
Yep.
don't you don't even hear his name no more.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
you look at how you look at Briz. Like for a second, Cass was like, "Oh, Briz can do no wrong.
Briz was hot for a minute. Hey, Briz was hot for a minute.
T Top can do no wrong." And the last two people is Rum Nitty and Av.
Yep.
Av and Rum Nitty went against each other.
Yep.
Had a classic.
Yep.
The problem is when you come out that early and you kind of have a classic or you have some material that's so dynamic and such a great battle,
Uh-huh.
then all of a sudden now you in every battle. And the same thing that happened to Av. Geechee Gotti and Av is the same person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so they turned on Av. They said he was stealing bars, and
Yep.
all he can do is punch. And they eventually turned on him, and he had to sit down for a little bit. And same thing can happen with Geechee Gotti.
It can happen, but now let me make it clear. I don't want it to happen. I just think it might.
And it all depends. It all depends on the matchups he takes, right?
Exactly.
So if he's one of them dudes,
And frequency. He can't take a battle every week. He can't do that.
and if he stands in front of a guy who has more than a true top tier, who has freestyle, he can got stage presence,
Angle,
he got swag, angles, bars,
delivery,
setups,
presence. He's gonna hit
delivery,
everything.
all that. When you go up against somebody like that and you just is talking street stuff,
Yep.
you can't. It's going to be difficult for you to win that battle. That's why DNA is the PG killer. It's because it's tough to to stand up to that diversified skill set.
Yeah.
You just keep coming with this.
And well, exactly, and that's the thing, because you got the angle to beat Geechee. Now, no one has put it all together. Everyone's kind of pepper it in some of their rounds, talking about, if you're not a real this and that, or going to jail and this and that. But he's so solidified and so authenticated that he is a street dude for show. He's a street dude for real, for real. He's gone to jail for all this, half the stuff that he's been talking about, and is verified. So he's definitely a street dude. But it's gonna take someone with all those tools in their arsenal that you were talking about. Like, for instance, I'm just trying to come up with, like, okay, like for instance, like Goods. If Goods come with an A game, he can make Geechee look a certain way, because Geechee's going to be talking street stuff and Goods will be talking boss stuff.
He because certain things as a street guy,
yeah,
don't really transfer to guys who've been
yeah
A in the streets, or A in the streets, or B can still talk that street stuff too, but
right.
That wipes right off of them. Certain people you just can't say anything to.
Well, it does. But you're right though, because I'll put it like this here: you can say a person like Good. I'm just using Goods as an example. I'm not trying to just big him up all the time, but the thing is, you can say a person like Goods can talk to street stuff, but he didn't make the same mistakes. You can say Geechee, yeah, he talked that street stuff, but he made all these mistakes. He went to jail, he got caught, and like I said, even JC kind of touched on it, but he didn't go in on it.
Right.
He just kind of touched it a little bit, and you're like, okay, that was good, and then he just walked away from it. But you had the perfect angle. You can take a street dude; they're gonna brag about all the strikes, they're gonna brag about their Glocks, they're gonna excuse me, they're gonna brag about all the things that they've done, but then they're gonna brag about being in jail. But at the end of the day, they're telling you, I got caught, I messed up. So people, most people are not exploiting that angle, and you get somebody who can take an angle and exploit. Hey, I did what you did, but guess what? I didn't make those mistakes. I'm a boss. But no one is driving that point home.
And well, and that's not to say that they won't. He just hasn't had the opportunity to get his first major shot, because what's going to happen is, he's, it'll get to a point where you get too hot and they're going to put you against somebody that, is a top tier.
Everybody hits a brick wall. Everybody hits a brick wall.
You're going to get there. Look at this. Like, when can you say, arguably, that Briz Rothstein's name wasn't mentioned no more like that? He went against Calico.
Yeah.
And
that's his brick wall. That was his brick wall. He hit Calico, that brick wall. Nah, he ain't looking the same. Calico hit a brick wall. Yeah, Calico hit a brick wall called Loaded Lux. Loaded Lux is not looking the same. Mook hit a brick wall called Averb, and he don't look the same. It's just, it happens, bro.
And if you're not caught, like, you could talk the machete stuff, but certain stuff, like JC, like, for JC to ascend to the next level, he almost has to be a step his aggression up.
Okay, I think he needs to do that. He needs to embrace the whole dancing thing. He needs to embrace it, and trying to, instead of just kind of ignoring it, because everyone keeps using it. Just embrace it. He needs to step the aggression up, but he also needs to. He's a very clever. No one can deny that the man is clever. The dude writes stuff that you're like, and I think what people miss is that when we say he's clever and over the head, he's witty. Okay, he's not necessarily trying to make you laugh, but he's witty, and you don't necessarily. The difference between him and a lot of dudes is that you don't see his punch coming. Okay, he's saying some stuff, and all of a sudden, boom, you get it. You don't see the punch coming. So he's very, very clever. So what he needs to do is use his size, okay, because he's so small. Okay, he's so small, and he needs to kind of use that as an advantage. He needs to say things along the lines about like when if a boxer he's boxing someone and they got reach on him, a little size, a little reach on him, what do? They try to get on the inside, stuff like that. So JC needs to use his size and kind of make bars that, hey, I'm getting on the inside, getting within that reach kind of thing. And so he let people just kind of little man him a little too much, because how many times JC has people beat in the bars department, but the other people beat him because of everything else, because of aggression, because of size, because of performance, because of delivery. When JC lose, it's because of everything else, and never really because somebody outbarred him.
If and JC, if you're listening out there, if you're listening, I don't know, you might not listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get people off of you, one of the biggest haymakers that you can ever do is if you came up there and you did some sort of angle where you just go into a dance,
Yep.
like
Yep.
this is what you've been wanting, and he act out a gun bar with or something
Thank
with a
you.
dance, the whole room would like it, that would send him to the next
Exactly. He needs to embrace it.
echelon.
He needs to embrace it, brother. I'm telling you, he needs to embrace it. You did it. You did it for Chris Stokes. Now, guess what? You're not getting paid to dance. But man, you'll bring a new element to your game because all everyone look for JC for are the bars. They don't look for him for anything else because he doesn't give them anything else. So embrace it.
He should be saying, for all y'all cats out here that's, you know, trying to use this angle with me
Yep.
dancing. In that case, everybody had a Michael Jackson glove and was
Thank you.
moonwalking.
Thank you. He needs to put that in the bar.
If everybody got a Michael Jackson, it's undeniable. Even the hardest core
Thank you.
criminals.
Thank you.
Um, listen, Billie Jean, come on. So listen,
They lying.
you you
Yep.
you lied to you. Everybody that was
Everybody had that. Don't lie. Everybody loved Michael Jackson. Quit. Don't lie. Don't let him lie. Don't let him lie. He was the man. So man, so hey, that's what I was thinking, man. I hope it's not Geechee Gotti, brother. I hope it's not. I'm just saying it could happen because he's in the perfect position that if he takes the wrong battle or take too many battles, he's going to, I think the people are going to turn on him. So I think he needs to take this T-top battle, and after that, I think he needs to sit down and wait for Surf. I know Surf wanted him to do two more, but he don't need it. All he needs is to take care of this T-top business. After that, sit down. Don't take any little side projects, like A Ward. Just sit down, wait on the Sue Surf battle, and just go from there. Now, if Sue Surf is sitting on his hands and beating around the bush and not really want to step to the plate, then you move on. But other than that, sit down. I say that because I say the same thing for Averb. He needs to kick back, wait on this Lux battle. Don't go take a butt because people are gonna turn on you again. He has a good look right now. He's in a good position after his Mook battle. But I don't want to digress in another subject. That's what I think is gonna happen. I think I agree with your hollow, and I just want to throw another name in there, which I think is Geechee Gotti, if he is not careful. I just want to make it clear that I don't want people to think that, oh man, this dude think that people about to turn on Geechee Gotti or they have turned on him. I do not think people have turned on Geechee Gotti, and I'm saying very clearly, I hope the fans do not turn on him, but I think it may happen if he's not careful. He takes the wrong battle or he takes too many battles, they will turn. So with that, I'm gonna go to the next thing. And 2019 is right around the corner, man. I mean, that was fast, but
oh yeah, what
there's
the time?
got, yeah, I know, man. But there's got to be a couple of battles you want to see for 2019. What? Give me a couple. I don't care if it's two, if it's three, but give me a couple of battles in 2019 that you must see.
So this is me being strategic, going back to the the analogy of, this is like, big time wrestling. This is
Yep.
WWE.
Yep.
So it all is how you frame matchup. So for me, the first one I want to see is, I would like to see B Dot versus JC.
Come on.
The reason I gotta see that is, a, I'm building this, and if I'm smart and smack smart, you build this as, hey, the winner of this deserves Lux.
Now
Like,
are they going? Now are they going down on is B dot JC? Are they going down on RBE on
uh,
their next card? I think on the next card.
are they up on the next card?
I think JC versus B dot is going down. The problem is It might be going on later 2018 in fall or winter 2018, I think.
So that one, fine, great. You know what?
Okay. Okay.
That's all good. If I can see that, you build that as, you know what, the winner of this deserves Lux,
There you go.
and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And people, those are the two names of the young dudes that people want to see. I think
Well,
it's time.
actually, hold on. I messed that up. Okay, correction, because the fans are gonna be like, man, these dudes don't know what they're talking about. Remember that JCB dot is going down on a strike card, right?
Yeah. Got you, got you,
Okay.
got you.
All right. All right.
So that and you know what? I'm hands on deck with that one,
Okay.
because these is the two young dudes that I feel it would be a good matchup with Lux,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like this is a good showing of, okay, this is the stepping stone to get to him.
Okay, so I got the perfect setup for you. Then the match you want to see next year is the winner of this match versus
Yes,
Lux next year.
that's correct. That's the winner. I need to see the winner of that.
Okay.
So and that's the winner of that is what I would like to see.
Okay.
And so piggybacking off that is, I say that what we do is, the natural transition to that is being like, okay, Lux, whoever is going to be RAB or URL, I want you to take the winner of B dot versus JC.
Yep.
Need you to come back and whet the appetites a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So then the next battle that I'm trying to see is obvious, is the Verb versus Lux.
That's what I want. That's one of mine, but that's okay. You go ahead. You go right ahead.
So now that we Lux is back, we see how he's sparking and how he's moving against a younger crowd, and how his material is going to be against cats like that. And so now you get Lux back. I think that energizes the situation, just like Mook energizes it, right?
Okay.
So I think you'll have that spike in interest. Now going into 2019, obviously you got Verb, who right now is in the dugout, clean, fresh, and,
Yep.
and he need to just do music, do drops of mixtape. I don't want to see him do no battles.
Yep.
I, I don't care. You done battle everybody.
Yep.
Like, drop some music, because I want you to say whatever you got for Lux. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? And um that's the second battle I want to see this year. Actually, it's the third, but technically it's the second. And
Right.
then, the last battle that I gotta see is the Mook Surf. I
Okay.
got
Okay.
I
Okay.
gotta get that, and the reason I gotta get that Mook Surf is, I know a lot of people like, okay, well, we might want Geechee and Surf. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or Mook, might be like, I don't know, but the reason this has to happen, and the reason I'm so interested in seeing it is, I'm interested in seeing how Mook approaches the battle after he, quote unquote, lost, and what adjustments he's gonna make in the ring.
Yeah.
So my coach used to always say, in sports, like, teams improve. The biggest improvement you usually see is from game one to game two. You,
Mm-hmm.
because you knock the rust off yourself. You can go back and correct mistakes. So for Mook relatively going against Verb in a short period of time, now you come back and you say, all right, how do you go ahead and change this? How are you going to approach this battle? And for Mook, this is huge, because once again, this is a legacy type battle. You, the knock is going to be on Mook. This, you only have battled one, arguably, like, God, like MC type dude. You've battled Lux twice, right?
Yep.
Rest of the people that you've battled, from like a Sirius Jones to like the rest of those guys that
Artie,
you,
Artie, and Jay Mills.
Jay Mills, those guys aren't really, got
Right.
all the battles under their belt, or got battles on cam.
Right.
So now if you say, okay, you win against Verb, a lot of people got Verb 2-1, some got 3-0. So now that's a guy who is been out a long time, and he has a place in stature in
Yep.
history.
Yep.
Okay, I can forgive that. But if you come back against Surf, and he's a younger guy, even younger than Verb,
Yep.
and you lose to Surf, now we legitimately have to start thinking about, are we overvalue what are we seeing here? Did we overvalue, the skill level, not the impact? Don't get me
Right.
twisted.
Exactly.
Impact
Can't be
is
taken away.
not even a question whether his impact and where he stands with the impact.
Right.
But where we in the battle rap community like to say is, I have a right to question your skill set. I have a right to question whether or not.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I think it's a big battle for him. Also, I think it's a big battle for Surf, because he needs a top name that he clearly beats.
Yeah, because Surf is a 50-50 guy, man. If you go back and look at all his battles, man, he's about 50-50. He's just a good showman. He's a good salesman. He can sell the fight. He's a good trash talker, and he has some pretty good wins, and he makes some good moments. But man, Surf don't be winning like that, man. If you go back and look at his record, he sells himself very well. You
He's
know,
He's Mr. Debatable,
Ex-
debatable versus Hollow.
yeah.
He got a debatable versus Hitman. You
Yeah,
know,
man. Well, I agree, man. But the three, let's see. Well, you know what? We got a lot of matches that are the same. I could swap out the Sue Surf versus Murder Mook, which I do agree with, but I could go for 2019. Just to put a little extra on the table, I'm gonna go Sue Surf and Geechee Gotti. I do want to see that next year. I know Sue Surf talked his way into a possible matchup with Mook. I understand that. I don't put Surf on the same tier as Mook, and I know a lot of Mook is a legend. I know a lot of that's legend. And I'm not speaking on skill set. I'm speaking on just impact and who he is, basically being the logo of battle rap. But I know Surf really talked himself into that, and he didn't wrap himself into that. But that's okay. But I don't mind seeing for next year Sue Surf and Geechee Gotti. And then I'm sorry, we got Verb and Lux the same. That's the next thing I want to see next year, because it's a good match. It's hot. They both want to battle each other, and I really don't want URL or RBE to fall asleep at the wheel on this one. Someone book it. Let's get it going. Book it. Quit playing with us. And last but not least, it's not as big a battle, but it's kind of a mirror match, and trust me, it is not a mirror match. Literally in looking at the two, but in style, I want to see Calico versus T Top. They talk that drug talk that
I
business talk. They
would like to see that. I would like to see that as well.
Yeah, they
Like,
got that. They got that long chain rhyme scheme pattern where they take the one word and they'll rhyme it for like 8 bars, the same thing. So they have the very. If you listen to them, look at the best. Just and it'll trip you out. Listen to, for instance, the best of T Top and just listen, and then go do the best of Calico and just listen. They sound very similar in how they deliver their bars is very similar, and of course their content is very similar too, which is drug talk and packing it up and all this other stuff. It's just that T Top is transitioning himself into being an angle king, which is fine. Because at first, early on, that's all he had was drug talk. Now,
that's it.
yeah, and now he's going angles, but his rhymes pattern is about the same. And it's the same as Calico. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. Of course, that's not the hottest, biggest battle, but I would like to see that as a mirror match because they have the same style, in my opinion. But to recap that, I'll take some Verb and Lux next year, and I'll take some Geechee Gotti in Surf next year. But I'm cool with Surf and Mook. It's just that I think the Sue Surf and Geechee Gotti is more likely to happen. But moving
Yes.
on and transitioning, hey, tell me something, Garrett. What do you think? And this might be just something real quick or anything, but what do you think about RBE? Do you think that they are poised to take the number 2 spot? And the reason why is because They need to follow up. Now, one event is not going to just catapult you to the number 2 spot. However, and to some people, they may be already there. The reason why is because the King of the Dots presence in the U.S. is just almost non-existent. Okay,
Yeah.
so I understand if somebody made that argument, I'm not going to even be mad. But as far as viewership, and views and battles and things like that, I mean, King of the Dot has more. But RBE could, if they continue, they could beat them in quality. And one other caveat, we saw that band battle with Steams and Jackboy Maine. What if, okay, because RBE needs to stand out, okay, because battle rap is not all about just the matchups and stuff like that and trying to get these free agents and all that. It's really not all that. But if you can have the look, so what if RBE, if they were the ones to have that band look, man, we'll be having a different conversation right now.
Man, you really, home on that from a perspective of whether or not they're number 2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think they already have that number 2 spot.
I'm not mad.
Only for the simple fact that when you think about battle rap, there's a different few types of genres of battle rap.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you go back to, we go hard or grind time or whatever, or Fight Club. I think URLs, mold and their genre is more of a Fight Club atmosphere.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? With the, back and forth aggression, the bravado, putting the bread up or whatever, you know what I'm saying, with both teams behind you, a group of people, you know what I'm saying? That's more of the vibe with URL. When you talk about King of the Dot, that's more of a parallel to grind time where, it's a little less format, like it's more friendly. Like,
backpackers.
more jokes, like, they'll clap for anything. Like, they not about to boo you. Usually when people go in there, they go get that bag. They don't even really have no aggression towards the other people.
Yeah.
It's just, you're just rapping up there. So, and for, I think, the most hardcore hip hop fans, the essence of what battle rap is the aggression in the competitive nature. So when you think about King of the Dot, I don't naturally perceive, because it's not my cup of tea. I want people to be in there dead serious, because that's the type of stuff that I grew up on.
Sure, we all got preference.
So there's a preference. But as far as RBE coming up, like, I believe that when you can get a Mook and Verb and have it be one of the most talked about battles in the game ever.
Yeah.
Like, you go to another level. That's just the reality of it, because if they can sustain it, like, UW has an issue because they pay these guys
way too much.
Handsomely. They pay them, and they go years without cards. They just got to recoup and try to get what they can, and they silent for a year and a half with RBE.
Yep.
If they can find the funding and consistently, they don't got to do a big battle, all the time.
No.
If they can get that going, I think that they can, compete and say, all right, well, we number 2, but we kind of tapping at URL's heels. And finally, in conclusion with that, I think you bring up a very good point, and I think this would take them to the next level in regards to RBE being that solidified number 2. Yep. Is when you're a smaller operation,
mm-hmm.
you have to be innovative.
Yes.
In your packaging, in your marketing, or even what you're doing to stand out. And so I think one of the things, RBE, for all the great, lyricists and pen writers they got and put together dope matches, I think one thing that lacks a little bit is their presentation of the venue, how the trailers look, You know, it doesn't stand out as anything
Exactly.
like it don't hit you. Like there's no signature like a URL. Um, you there's certain signature things that when you watch a URL battle, you just know what it is. Like
Man.
you get it. You know the atmosphere. You know what it is. But RBE, I can't put my finger on it. And if you told me to say describe RBE
Yep.
and how they differ, I couldn't tell you. I would just be like, you know,
And brother, you are hitting the nail right on the head, because while you were talking, I was thinking exactly what you were saying. I was seeing it in my head because you were talking about URL, and I'm thinking, okay, I know people hate the comparison to like wrestling and all that, but I'm sorry, there are some parallels. I'm sorry. Okay, so kill me. But here's
definitely
the thing. But here's the thing. When you were talking, I was like, okay, you talking about, okay, when you describe URL, I'm thinking, okay, Summer Madness is like WrestleMania. Okay, it is big. It's gonna be big names, big battles, stuff like that. They got Gnome, they got Night of Main Events and stuff like that. Oh, they innovated when they got the small room, the volume series. They innovated. Now,
mm,
now they got banned. That's innovation. So I'm like, okay,
legacy rookie versus vets.
they have all that. And here's the thing with RBE. Here's the thing. They have these lifted soul, pearly gates. You know, I mean, what do you? Okay, guys, you gotta. Okay, it's not just naming a card something. You gotta innovate. You know what I'm saying? You gotta innovate. Which I don't even like the names of their cards, but you have to innovate.
Like, how does it tie in? Or does your visual tie in to what the slogan or the name of your card is? Like,
Exactly.
and for smacking them, they do these things where even the PGs, like exactly what you're gonna get.
Exactly.
Branding with RBE, I don't know how to differentiate. So on talent wise and on just putting together battles, for my preference, I always already think they're number two. But the reality of the situation is, I think for them to actually jump to a point where you can actually considering them like, actually competing with URL, they're
No.
gonna have to do something that
Oh, they got to innovate. If you stay the same, you can't. Okay, you cannot compete when URL have Smack Volume, Double Impact, Born Legacy, Gnome, Summer. You can't compete. The Lifted Soul, Pearly Gates. No, bro. Like I agree. You need. It's not just naming the card like I was saying earlier. It's theming the card. Where's the theme of it? Because like you said, when we name an event a URL, like you just said, you know what you're gonna get. You know what you're gonna get because the packaging is right. And so I don't know. I don't know what RB. I think they can take the number two spot, but they need some more help in the marketing department as far as marketing their events and marketing the events itself, and then innovating on the way it looks. Can you imagine RBE if they had the small room, if they had the volume small room? Can you imagine if they had the band look or whatever? What was to stop them from doing something like that? You see what I'm saying? So they could have had that. They could have had that, and so that's the part that's frustrating because I want them to do well because hey, the more quality battle rap, the better. I don't think every battle should be on URL. I think it's from league to league. It's certain what you're gonna get. It's just that they don't brand their events very well with the name and the themes and the look. They don't innovate with the look. And,
and why you just said that,
mm-hmm.
and we giving away stuff for free here. Y'all
Yeah,
listen.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I just thought of an idea, and this is so empty. It's so easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
One idea is to this thought process where you go to the street corner again.
Hey, talk
You
about it.
you drop a battle, or what you do is, whether it's Smack or whatever people you do, or it's RBE, on Twitter, you go out and you do surprise battles, and you be like,
Yep.
I'm gonna do a surprise battle.
Yep.
We drop it in on the street corner. If you interested in coming to the battle, this is the location.
And you know what? We can even call it a hotspot. Oh my gosh, we just gave away jewels. You can
Just
hotspot a battle on the street.
and you know it takes it. It's a homage to how back in the days where you had to go to the street corner or whatever, and you can even do little funny things. You can even do a throwback where one of the main things that I'm always hearing with these guys, and they talk about how the format was back then. It was like it wasn't a rounds. Basically, it was saying, "All right, who got the most rhymes?" You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Saying whoever rhymed the longest, or if you ran out of rhymes,
That's
you know what
it.
I'm saying, you
Yep.
lost. So think about how you can, just stamp yourself. You say, okay, we're gonna do the hot spot. People come,
Yep.
show up, and it ain't the regular format.
Yep.
It's you give your bars. How long can you rap? You give your bars. How long you gonna rap? And just bring it back to the essence of it. And whoever run out of bars first, you lost. You know what I'm saying?
Man, and you know what? You don't even have to do that with big names. You can go out. You RBE right now talking about finding talent. You can go look how much money they can save because they can just go out to a city, okay, get ARP and then a couple of his people, get a little bit of security, whatever. Go find a barbershop, get a for a hot spot. I mean, because trust me, the barbershop gonna want that publicity. Call some people out, get a hot spot if you're gonna be on the corner or something like that or whatever. Get some people out, get two people, say, all right, you ready? You ready to go? Because this is their spot. You don't even got to pay these guys. You let
No,
them know they coming because they know they finna get a good look. Okay? And boom, you have some fun with it. Okay? You don't have all this production going on or nothing. You just have some fun with it, see what happens, see where it goes. And you are creating a buzz. You got the battle rap community talking about it. I mean, for a while, hey, after that Verb and Moot battle, RBE owned the media for at least about a month, especially with Summer Madness 7 going so terribly, so
oh,
disastrous. They owned it for about a month.
you when if you got them eyes and ears, you
Yep.
got to capitalize off that.
You
And
do.
I'm just thinking of the endless options that you got when you can drop them battles. Like, think about it. Like, you can drop one, and like you said, if it's at a barber shop or somewhere, they definitely, you can actually have them pay for it.
Yeah.
Like that, you want sponsors, there's one sponsor, and then what you do is drop it like a scavenger hunt. Like, you have
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
one battle is at this barbershop, another battle is at this outside of a basketball court,
Yep.
then and then you drop another one and somewhere else across the city. So people would be like, oh my goodness, like,
Oh man, put it on a blacktop where they got basketball bleachers and everything. Put it on a blacktop and just oh man, come on man,
and all you doing this all in these different hubs or whatever.
all over the place, all over the U.S.
And it's something you can, if even if you want to just say it's in New York, there's always somewhere where you can actually just be like, okay, show up here at this place
Thank
and
you.
store.
Hot
And
spot.
people in New York, they like, I'm there. It's a free event. It's a battle. The
Yep.
energy is different. Change up the rules. It's the first person who ran out of bars. And you do you understand, like, the fact that you're gonna drop this and it's an accident. Like, it's you drop it and no one knows you're gonna drop it.
Yep.
And it's the same way artists dropping albums right now. That's the new thing. You didn't tell nobody. You just dropped it.
Exactly, exactly. Hey, man, you know what, man? I don't know. We're gonna have to do a mark now. I was gonna say we're gonna have to do a marketing show, but then we'll be giving away all the jewels. I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna we implement some of these jewels that we're talking about. But that's another show. That's another time. Let's. I'm gonna close out because this week it just happened this week. I don't want people to think we behind the times. Summer Madness 8, they got announcement number 2. So far on the card. Okay, they have the Don versus the Don. So John versus Hollow, and then they have Tay Rock versus Pat Stay. So before we close out, I want you to give me your thoughts on that.
So when you look at summer, first of all, shout out to URL, because one of with a lot of people, I know you and I talked about this numerous times, is why aren't they taking these battles on the road? Why aren't they taking these battles at different places to grow the brand. And so
Hmm.
they've been doing that. They've been in Houston, they've been in Vegas, they've been to London, which is, I think, one of the best moves because
Yep.
that's going to be, I mean, just a super dope atmosphere for you to be involved with that. So I salute them for doing that. But in regards to like the battles and my feelings on it, when you look at, um, we kind of touched on this earlier. When you look at Hollow, this is a battle where a lot of people say, "Oh, he don't need. He's a legend." Definitely a legend, right? But at the end of the day, you this is a barometer of where your skill level at this point, because like we said before, John John's a guy where you know he knows this format. He don't battle all that much, so what I'm saying, he understands, and I think he keeps himself sharp, and you could never underestimate that by you being in bullpen. You got a roster with you, so you can't tell me that he ain't you know being around his team and his league, his artist, and be picking up like, oh, I love the way he delivered that, or oh, I love this. That's keeping him sharp and relevant, and like on the cutting edge of what's now. And because he don't really battle like that,
Right.
that's a situation. And I think what opened my eyes was him and Twerk, like,
Right.
and the way he Twerk was red hot at the time,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
but the way he came into that battle, it was just like he was just a tactician, he was a technician, like
Exactly.
point. And so it's gonna be an uphill battle for Hollow. I mean, is he capable of winning that battle? Sure. But I think it's going to be, if anybody says it's going to be, some sort of landslide, or it's going to be a 30-piece nugget or something, in favor of Hollow, I don't see that at all. That's not going to be no walk in the park, to be
I
truthful.
I don't think that's going to be a walk in the park, but I do want you to save your prediction because I was about to jump into that whole prediction bag too. But then I said, you know what? When the whole card release, you and I can jump back on the line and give our prediction of the whole card. But I am going to agree and echo with you when you said that it's not going to be a walk in the park. Hollow just not. I doubt Hollow just going to walk all over John. If anybody out there thinking that, so I just don't believe that at all. But give me your thought. Give me your thoughts on this Pat Stay and Tay Rock, man. I think you were saying earlier Tay Rock need this.
Oh, no, no, no. Listen, Tay Rock, this is probably one of the biggest battles in Tay Rock's career, because I'll give it an analogy of Cinderella. You know, Tay Rock started off as a dude that was just a dude Smack them used to offer up so they can,
Yeah,
get another dude some recreation. Like,
exactly. He a place filler. He was a place filler.
yeah, go spar with Tay Rock, right? And so, after a certain period of time where Smack started going to it's not a coincidence that during this era where Tay Rock was hot, Smack went to the whole business model over of name, or business model over bars over names, or
Yeah, yeah,
so he wasn't trying to book a lot of these big name dudes or whatever. So when you look at it, he was there. You know,
right.
in that mix and in that era, you got to realize that he was there and he filled the void, and was like, okay,
He did.
he's the youngest of the oldest era, and all of
Yeah,
a sudden he became Cinderella, Prince of he could do no wrong. However, now that people see he's beatable, and now you going against Pat Stay, you got to win this battle, and
yeah.
you might want to do it convincingly,
Oh yeah.
because right now a lot of people is just waiting to be like, well, was Tay Rock that even that good? Was he really all that electric, or was it just a simple fact that he was chosen? That's the dude they wanted to endorse. And some people would even have a conspiracy theory that the reason they took and gave Tay Rock and stamped him was it's like you know you a little cheaper than the rest of them.
Oh. Mm.
We need you ain't demanding an amount of money that the rest of them is. So we gonna stamp you, and you'll set the market.
Yeah.
Now, if we giving Tay Rock 10,000, and he the face of or the face of URL, what you think they giving somebody who ain't the face? That's
Yep.
driving the price down. You might lucky to get $1,000. They can like Tay Rock get 10. What make you think you gonna get 5,000? So
Mm-hmm.
so I think that was a situation where some people in the back of their minds is like, is this a situation where it's like, did they tell us Tay Rock was hot, or was he really hot?
Exactly. Exactly. And I think what's happening, I think one of the things that happened to Tay Rock, his last two battles not that good, and it's against names, Hitman and Goods. But here's the problem: Tay Rock is also running out of battles. He's running out of people he can battle. If you look at his resume, he battled every doggone body, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm thinking about that.
yeah, it's not much left. There's not much left for him if you think about it. I mean, yeah, he could battle Mook, but that's a new development. But think about this: you probably not going to have a handful of battles. You're gonna, I mean, can you count to 5 more battles, 10 battles? He
I
don't
mean,
have that much left.
oh,
There's not much left.
he can. Yeah, he especially with the rapid fire with the new guys coming up. Like
Yeah,
he's already done the greats.
yeah,
Clips. He done did Calico.
yeah. He
He,
batted. He even batted his own gun title party. He bat Sue Surf.
I mean, the only person I can think of offhand is Conceited. Like,
Yeah, he wanted conceded, but what Danny Myers won him, but that, what I mean, he don't have that many, man. He don't have that many. You really don't. Twerk, he can battle Twerk, but then Twerk sour. People sour on Twerk for right now, for the
it,
moment, till he get back in everyone's good graces.
I think you. I mean, I think you bring up a very super valid point. It's like, okay, where we go from here? Where
Yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah. Where you going? Where you gonna go with Tay Rock? He, man, I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. Man. Man, we covered a lot of ground. I'm gonna leave it at that, but I don't know where else he's gonna go. I think Tay Rock. I agree with you wholeheartedly that Tay Rock need this battle, man. Because if he slow down after this, which I think he needs to, because there's not that many battles left for him, he needs to be like positioned as, since he's put in enough work. I think he needs to be positioned as one of those kings, one of those dudes you need to come and see and earn your way up to Tay Rock, and not Tay Rock looking like, okay, well, Tay Rock's the face of the franchise, so we need to give him another plate. If we don't, he don't need to be positioned that way. He needs to be positioned. This is a boss level dude. This is one of the bosses, and everybody else needs to earn their way up to Tay Rock. Tay Rock don't need to call out nobody.
And,
And people, yeah, Tay Rock need to be positioned as one of those dudes. Like, okay, if you do this, that, this, that, this, that, you might get Tay Rock one day. You know what I'm saying? That kind of position, because so Tay Rock can look a certain way. Because, man, these last two battles, brother, if he lose to Pat Stay, it'll be one of his worst years. It'd be one of his worst years in battle rap.
he would have to ride out this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. He had to go ahead and be like, I'm gonna go ahead and sit down. I'll catch y'all.
He gonna have to sit down, bro, because it will not. Oh man, that would be ugly for Tay Rock. He has to win. He has to win. He has no choice. He has to. We'll see, but you know what? We'll see. We'll save the predictions for another time, for another show. We'll get back into it. We'll wait till they release the whole card so we can just do a show just breaking down that card. And brother, appreciate you joining me, man, on this program. It's always good to, chop it up with you. Join me on the next program. Do you have any other words you want to say to the audience real quick before we get out of here?
Oh yeah, man. You know what it is, man. Y'all can follow me at GBush91 if
Yeah.
Also, I do got a series. It's called the Battle Rap Consulting Series, which I haven't dropped that in a couple weeks, but I will be uploading some of my thoughts on that. Part two and part three of the series. I'll be doing that, and definitely. And I'm looking forward to hooking back up with you again, trying to talking about this battle rap thing, man.
Hey man, let's do it, man. We talk about this thing that we enjoy, and it's called battle rap. So join us on this next episode, because this episode is over.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.